Hey Falcons fans! The buzz in the Atlanta Falcons locker room is electric, and not because of any flashy free agent signings or eye-catching trades. No, it's because of a player who could be the quiet force that changes everything in 2025. And believe it or not, this guy wasn't even on most fans' radars just a few months ago. Let's dive into a story that could reshape the heart of the Falcons defense and spark a new wave of excitement for Dirty Bird Nation. But before I tell you, hit that like button and I'll keep you well informed. And let me know what you think at the end. Picture this, linebacker Deablo, a name that may not be on every NFL analyst's lips, is looking more and more like the unsung hero Atlanta didn't know it needed. When Coach Raheem Morris assessed his linebacker core after a rocky 2024 season, he saw one clear asset, Caden Ellis, a solid player who delivers week in and week out with no drama, just results. Ellis flies under the radar nationally, not for lack of talent, but because he lets his play do the talking. Whether he's stopping the run, covering tight ends, or pressing on a blitz, Ellis is everywhere. Then comes the wild card, Troy Anderson. On paper, he's everything you want in a linebacker: elite speed, freakish athleticism, and an ability to make jaw-dropping plays. Need proof? Rewind to September 2024 when Anderson was crowned NFC Defensive Player of the Week after logging 17 tackles and a pick six against the Saints. But that game also tells a deeper story, one of what could have been. In 3 years, Anderson has started just 11 games. Not because of performance, but because staying on the field has been his biggest opponent. The phrase "when healthy" has become a bittersweet mantra for a player who has shown flashes of superstardom, only to be sidelined time and again. This inconsistency forced the Falcons' hand in the offseason. With tight cap space and little room for a splashy acquisition, Atlanta took a smart, measured swing by signing Deablo, a former Raider whose biggest asset might not be his size, speed, or length, but his reliability. Last season alone, Deablo started 14 games. For a team craving stability in the middle, that's not just nice, it's crucial. Now here's where it gets really interesting. According to ESPN's Mark Raimondi, Deablo isn't just a depth piece. He's pegged as Atlanta's biggest surprise player for 2025. And if you listen closely to the way Coach Morris talks about him, it's easy to see why. Deablo has the physical tools, standing 6'3" with impressive sideline-to-sideline range, but even more impressively, he has the mental chops. Morris is reportedly eyeing him for the green, meaning he could be calling the plays, quarterbacking the defense, becoming the central voice of the unit. That's not just a role you give away. It's a statement. Deablo's path to this moment is just as intriguing. At Virginia Tech, he played a hybrid safety role, giving him the coverage skills and awareness that translate beautifully to today's linebacker responsibilities. When you pair that with his physicality, you get a guy who can read plays before they unfold and close in with authority. This setup could redefine the dynamic of the Falcons' defense. With Ellis as a disruptive force who clogs running lanes and hurries quarterbacks, Deablo is free to roam, anticipate, and attack. Especially on outside run plays, where containment and pursuit are everything, this duo could wreak havoc on opposing offenses. That's the kind of chemistry defenses are built on. Now, let's be real, no one's forgetting about Troy Anderson. In fact, he's the ultimate X-factor. In a perfect world, Anderson stays healthy and becomes part of a terrifying rotation. But as the saying goes, the best ability is availability, and that's where Deablo shines. If he takes the reins early and produces, Anderson may be facing a reduced role, even if he's healthy. That's not a knock, it's a reality check. And it's not just the defense that's turning heads. On the offensive side, the name Darnell Mooney is quickly becoming one to watch, especially if you play fantasy football. After a turbulent run in Chicago, Mooney found his rhythm in Atlanta, posting 992 yards and 5 touchdowns last season, more than his previous 2 seasons combined. That's impressive enough, but here's where it gets spicy. Mooney only had 1 full game with rookie quarterback Michael Penix Jr., and in that short time, the chemistry was undeniable. Penix, known for his deep ball accuracy, is exactly the kind of quarterback Mooney needs. Mooney caught 14 deep passes last year, the 3rd most in the entire NFL. When quarterbacks threw to him deep, 20-plus air yards, they posted a 118.6 passer rating, 5th highest in the league. That's elite. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Deablo is the real deal? Can Mooney and Penix become the dynamic duo we're all hoping for? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. The NFL never sleeps, and in the last 48 hours, we've seen that proven with shocking moves that reshuffled star power across the league. Jalen Ramsey heading to Pittsburgh, Minkah Fitzpatrick going the opposite way to Miami, and Darren Waller coming out of retirement to join the Dolphins. But let's cut straight to what Falcons fans need to know. Kyle Pitts isn't going anywhere. That's right, with Waller now in Miami, Pitts remains rooted in Atlanta. Sigh of relief? Definitely. But this story is far from over, and what's coming next could shake the NFC South to its core. Now, something else just got thrown into the mix, something that wasn't even on the radar a few days ago. A cryptic tweet from Adam Schefter ignited a wildfire of speculation. Schefter reported that in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers standout TJ Watt, who notably skipped Pittsburgh's most recent minicamp. That single line has potentially altered the entire landscape, especially for a team like Atlanta. Let's break this down. Why would TJ Watt be on the trade block? Simple, money. Pittsburgh just took on Jalen Ramsey's hefty contract, and while no official word from the Steelers has confirmed what is available, it doesn't take a seasoned GM to connect the dots. Watt isn't happy with his current deal. He wants, and absolutely deserves, a raise. He's not among the highest paid pass rushers anymore, despite putting up elite numbers year after year. When guys like Myles Garrett are resetting the market, Watt's eyes are naturally drifting toward that neighborhood. Here's where it gets interesting. Schefter's tweet didn't come from nowhere. In NFL media circles, it's common knowledge that agents use reporters to push a narrative, especially when it comes to contracts. In this case, the message seems clear. Watt's agent is applying pressure on the Steelers' front office, and they're doing it through the media. This is a chess move. It tells other GMs, hey, there might be an opening here. And if you're Falcons GM Terry Fontenot, this is where the phone starts to look very inviting. Could the Falcons be interested in trading for TJ Watt? Let's talk logistics. Atlanta is in a unique spot right now. They've invested heavily in young edge talent, drafting James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee and Dumas Johnson, Jalen Walker from Georgia. Both of these rookies are highly regarded. Pierce, in particular, was seen as a top-tier prospect, with freak athleticism and a nose for the quarterback. But they're rookies. And that's the rub. Watt, on the other hand, is a proven commodity. He's a defensive player of the year, a game wrecker, a force off the edge who can single-handedly flip a game's outcome. You don't just pass on a guy like that unless you're very confident in your current plan. And the Falcons? They might not be ready to bet their 2025 season on rookies. Now, Fontenot and head coach Raheem Morris are sitting at a crossroads. If they stick with the kids, they preserve cap flexibility and allow their young core to develop. But if they swing big for Watt, they send a message, we're here to win now. And that win-now urgency might not be coming just from inside Flowery Branch, it might be coming from above. Fontenot's job security could very well hinge on this season. A 9-8 record and an early playoff exit won't cut it. Ownership wants to see results, real results. Playoff wins. Deep January runs. What could help make that happen? But it would come at a cost. The Falcons are already without a first-round pick in 2026, and adding what could mean sacrificing more draft capital, or even one of their young studs like James Pierce Jr. That raises a difficult but crucial question. Would you trade Pierce and picks for TJ Watt? Would you part ways with James Pierce Jr. and draft picks to bring in a proven star? Or should Atlanta double down on its youth movement and let the rookies rise? Drop your thoughts in the comments.